is up guys, it's Simon from PianoPig.com, and in this video we're going to deconstruct a Neo Soul chord progression and look at some of the common voicings found throughout the genre. This video you're about to see is actually taken from my brand new course, 5 Neo Soul Chord Progressions. I've been working really hard to put this together and I've literally just released it today inside the PianoPig Academy, which is my online membership website if you haven't heard of it before. The course contains 5 in-depth lessons, each one breaking down a Neo Soul chord progression. And not only do I just try and teach you how to play the progression, but I actually try to explain some of the common characteristics found throughout Neo Soul. We look at some of the common voicings that are frequently used, and some other really interesting concepts that you can apply to your own playing. So if you're already a member, you should see the course available now in your dashboard, and if you're not a member, what are you doing? No, I'm joking. If you're not a member, you should definitely have a little think about becoming a member and joining our awesome community. You can find all the details over at PianoPig.com. So I apologise for the long rant, but I'm just really excited to share my new course with you all. So that's enough of me talking, and I hope you enjoy this sneak peek from the new course. So this is the 3rd Neo Soul chord progression that we're going to learn. For this one, we're going to learn a couple of different voicings for each chord, so you can then mix them up and add some variation throughout the progression. There is also a backing track available for this chord progression for you to practice along with. You can download that from the link below this video. Okay, so let's get on with it. The first chord is an E-flat major 7, and a majority of the time in this progression I am voicing it like this. We've just got the root, 3rd, 5th, major 7, and then the 3rd again up at the top. And if you wanted some variation every now and again, an easy thing to do is to just add the C up at the top. And this actually makes it an E-flat major 13. The next chord in this progression is an A-flat minor 9. A nice and easy voicing you could use would be this. So we've just got a box standard A flat minor 7, and then we've added in the 9. This is a voicing you will see over and over again in this genre. I also want to show you 2 more voicings for this chord. Feel free to just stick with the first one for now, and then come back to these other variations when you're comfortable with the original one. So the first variation looks like this. And all we're actually doing here is doubling up the 9 and also the 5th up at the top. So it's the same as we had before, but with these 2 notes added up here. You can also just think of this as your right hand playing an E-flat minor. And this voicing just adds an extra layer of thickness and also allows us to play around with the melody a little bit, something we'll get onto later. The 3rd and final voicing I want to show you for this A-flat minor 9 sounds like this. And this is actually an A-flat minor 11, since we've got this D-flat in here. So here we've got the root, 9, minor 3rd, 11, 7, and 9. And you may have noticed that in all of these voicings, I'm playing exactly the same thing in my left hand. The root, 9, and minor 3rd. And then in the right hand, for the original voicing, we just had this. The second voicing, we just had this. And for the third voicing, we had this. So as I said earlier, if that's too many voicings to remember, just pick one, and once you've really got that one down in the context of the entire chord progression, come back and learn the others. So the first two chords so far. And if we used some of the variations, moving on to the third chord, we have a B flat minor 9, for which we're going to play this. A fairly standard, rootless minor 9 voicing. We've got the 7, 9, 3, and 5. And this is going to be the only voicing we use for this chord. Then it acts as a sort of anchor, somewhere we know that we will always return to. So if we put those three chords together, one more time. Moving on to the fourth and final chord, we have a G flat major 9, for which we are going to play this. So again, this is that same standard major 7 voicing, with the 9th added in just above the root. And a nice and simple variation for this chord would be to just double up the 3rd up at the top. So let's put all of those chords together, and I'll just use the original voicings for the time being. One more time. Okay, so now for the structure of the chord progression. It's pretty simple. We play through once like we just did, and then on the second time around, we just hold the B flat minor 9, and we don't play the G flat major 9. And that's it. So this is what that should look like. One more time. Finally, I just want to talk about some basic melodic options you have. And when I say melodic options, I basically just want to show you a few little notes here and there that you can throw in to help connect the chords together. So here's an example. So that was just 2 notes. And it really helps to glue those voicings together. And I'm also kind of using the top note of the voicing as part of the melody as well. So you could hear that melody like this. So I just did the same thing there. Created a simple melody using 2 extra notes to glue those voicings together. So you might be wondering what notes to use. And since this chord progression pretty much changes key every chord, you want to play notes based from the scale corresponding to the chord you're currently playing. So if we go back to that first example. So here, I'm playing an E flat major 7. So the corresponding scale would be E flat major. And that right there gives me all the notes I can use to link to the next chord. If I wanted to make the melody a little more complex, just pick some notes from that scale and go for it. And this is also where these variations for the chords come in handy, because they essentially give you different melody notes to play with, since the note on the top is different in each variation. So here, if I wanted to play a little melody to link the B flat minor 9 to the G flat major 9, I'm playing the B flat minor 9, so I would look to the B flat natural minor scale for note options. So to finish this off, I'm just going to play along with the provided backing track to give you some ideas. So I really hope that you enjoyed that slightly more advanced Neo Soul chord progression, and I will see you in the next one.